Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update. And in the news this afternoon, Clarendon man chopped to death during altercation in Christiana. A 38-year-old Clarendon man was chopped to death during an early morning altercation in Christiana, Manchester on Saturday. The deceased has been identified as C.J. Mongol, a laborer of Magni district in Kellitz, Clarendon. The incident reportedly happened minutes to 5 a.m. It is alleged that Mongol was involved in an altercation with a group of persons in the Dobson area of Christiana when he was attacked and chopped all over his body. He was assisted to the Percy Junior Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Spalding police are conducting investigations into the incident. Man killed, another injured in gun attack at the St. Catherine bar. A gun attack at a bar in the rural St. Catherine community of Buxton Town on Saturday night has left one man dead and another hospitalized. The deceased has been identified as 27-year-old Rondell Gallimore, a laborer of Buxton Town, Wakefield in the parish. A 20-year-old man from the same community was also shot during the incident and remains hospitalized. The incident reportedly took place at about 10:35 p.m. It is reported that both the men were patrons at a bar in the community when a Toyota Probox motorcar drove up and stopped. One man reportedly exited the vehicle, brandished a firearm, and opened a fire, hitting both men. Gallimore was said to have received a gunshot wound to the upper body, while the other man was shot in the arms. They were assisted to the Linstead Hospital, where Gallimore was pronounced dead. No motive has been established for the attack. The Linstead Criminal Investigation Branch is probing the incident. Fake taxi operator pleads guilty to 18 sex and robbery charges. Dwayne Redfin, a 37-year-old man who posed as a taxi operator, has once again pleaded guilty to a slew of sexual offenses and robbery charges in the St. Catherine Circuit Court. Redfin entered the guilty pleas on Thursday before Justice Palmer to 18 counts, including 5 counts of forcible abduction, 5 counts of rape, 5 counts of grievous sexual assault, and 3 counts of robbery with aggravation. The charges stemmed from several cases. He was remanded for sentencing by Justice Dale Palmer on Thursday. The court was told that Redfin had initially pleaded guilty during the October 2024 session of the Circuit Court. However, when he returned for sentencing in March 2025, he changed his plea, prompting a delay in the case. He is being represented by attorney at law Denise Hinson. Redfin was arrested by the Portmore police in 2017 after a female passenger reported a case of indecent assault while he was pretending to be a legitimate taxi driver in the area. The matter was investigated by the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse, which collected statements and conducted an identification parade. Redfin was pointed out as the perpetrator and after linked to other cases. Pudi charged following breach of Firearms Act. A 20-year-old man has been charged with several firearm offenses after turning himself into the police. Police say they have charged Jaheem Bailey, otherwise called Pudi, a barber of Rodney Street, Jonestown, Kingston 12, with shooting with intent, illegal importation of a firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and making use of a firearm to commit a felony following an incident in his community on May 9. Reports from the Admiral Police are that about 8:20 p.m., a man was sitting on the roadway when he was pounced upon by Bailey, who was armed with a gun. However, the man managed to escape, and a report was made to the police. On Tuesday, June 10, Bailey turned himself over to the police and was subsequently charged, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Security guard arrested over gun seizure in St. Mary operation. A 34-year-old security guard was arrested on Sunday after police allegedly seized an illegal firearm and ammunition at his residence in Port Maria, St. Mary. According to a police report, the seizure took place about 6:15 a.m. as law enforcement officers acting on intelligence conducted an operation. The police said that upon their approach, the man attempted to flee but was apprehended by the team. A subsequent search led to the discovery of a Smith & Wesson Springfield 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 2 9mm rounds, said Anthony Wallace, commanding officer for the St. Mary Police Division. The firearm and ammunition were seized, and the suspect was taken into custody. Passengers injured after car crashes into yard. Several people were reportedly injured following a motor vehicle crash along the Bogwalk bypass on Sunday. Reports from residents at the scene are that 2 cars collided and one then careened off the road before landing in a yard just off the road. Onlookers say the 3 occupants of the car were trapped inside until firefighters from the Linstead Fire Station arrived to free them from the mangled vehicle. The occupants were reportedly taken to the hospital for treatment. Knife-wielding passenger in fatal taxi dispute now in police custody. A man who fatally stabbed a taxi operator during a dispute and was subsequently beaten by angry onlookers on Friday night is now in the custody of the Falmouth police. The deceased has been identified as a 34-year-old Stephen Morris, a taxi operator of Duncan's Hill, Trelawney. According to police reports, about 8 p.m., Morris was operating his taxi when, upon reaching Thorpe Street in Falmouth, an argument developed between him and the passenger. The dispute escalated, and the passenger reportedly brandished a ratchet knife, which he used to stab Morris. The incident sparked outrage among onlookers, who pounced on the knife-wielding man and inflicted several blows. He sustained injuries and was transported to the hospital. Following treatment, he was taken into custody by the Falmouth police, who are continuing their investigations. PNP councillor challenges Crawford over hardest working MP claim. Councillor for the Belfield Division in Manchester Central, Maria Mitchell, has rubbished the claims by the constituency's Member of Parliament, Rhoda Crawford, that she is the hardest working MP the seat has seen. Crawford made the claim on Monday at a workers' meeting at a Manchester High School. "I don't have to come to defend my record of performance. I know you know. Every Jamaican in Jamaica and the diaspora knows that I have worked very hard. Manchester Central has never had a more hard-working Member of Parliament than yours truly," Crawford declared. However, Mitchell has dismissed her claim. "Rhoda, stop the capping. You say PNP never do nothing for 30 years. Who built Mandeville Regional Hospital? No PNP?" he said on Saturday night at a People's National Party conference at Hatfield Primary School. Mitchell then went on to list a record of achievements, including schools and health centers built under previous PNP administrations in the constituency. "When you come in a Mandeville town, you have Mount St. Joseph, Belleair High, Mandeville Primary, built by PNP, he boasted. He also lauded businessman and the PNP activist Kenneth Skengdon Black for creating jobs in Mandeville. "When you come on Ward Avenue down by the call center at Comrade Black's building, 3,000 young people working, built by the PNP, said Mitchell. Mitchell declared his support for Mandeville Mayor Donovan Mitchell, who will be challenging Crawford for the Manchester Central seat in the upcoming general election. He challenged Crawford to outline what he has done in the constituency. "Rhoda, name one dege God Almighty thing where you build under your government," he said, while claiming Manchester is a PNP parish. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.